take action.
Lloyd Russell-Moyle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Look, I think the street count system that we currently have at the moment is not working, and people do not have trust in it. When they see the increasing number of people sleeping on our streets, but the statistics say the numbers are going down, something is wrong, and we need to review it, and the government needs to review it. Despite 50 new rough sleep and move-on beds being created by the Labour-led Brighton and the country's first 365-day emergency shelter, hundreds still remain on our streets and in Brighton's emergency accommodation every night. And it is causing and costing lives. I know, for instance, that 5 people have died in 2 months in one local emergency accommodation. The staff in another emergency accommodation call the basement room the suicide room.
Would my item friend give way?
I will do.
I have already mentioned that Wandsworth doesn't have emergency accommodation, so do you agree that there should be more emergency accommodation and that emergency accommodation needs to provide services and not just rooms?
Exactly, and that might stop some of the deaths. But the deaths are not just in emergency accommodation, they are on our streets. In the last year, Robert Bartlett, aged 30, died on the 29th of October. Robert was sleeping rough and died of an overdose. William Morrow, aged 45, died on the 4th of April. He was described as an extremely likeable person. He'd been living rough for a little while, and the inquest found he died of a heroin overdose after detoxing. A very familiar story. Arna Bud Hussain, 49, died on the 11th of April. Arna was a resident at one of our homeless hostels. Andrew O'Connell, 54, was violently attacked for being homeless and died on the 8th of August whilst sleeping rough. And those who have not been named but are confirmed as dying while sleeping rough in Brighton: in October, a 39-year-old man sleeping rough, and a 60-year-old who died whilst living in emergency accommodation. In November, a 34-year-old man who died from sepsis, a 41-year-old woman, another 41-year-old who had been evicted only the day before from their emergency accommodation. In December, a 35-year-old woman, and then in January, a 50-year-old died in temporary accommodation. The year before, in March, a man in his 50s and a 33-year-old man. In April, a 45-year-old man. In July, a 36-year-old man. And these are just the people who have died in Brighton between July up until July 2019. There are many more who have died in the last 6 months in our streets, in our city. 3 of the men's bodies were so badly decomposed when they were discovered that forensic testing was needed to identify them. The failure to address the rising tide of homelessness under the Conservative government is not only an increase in rough sleeping, but it is quite literally causing the deaths of my constituents, a 51% increase in the last 5 years alone, and the average age now for someone on the streets, 44. Being homeless itself is a vulnerability, and many councils up and down our country treat it not. They say you have to be vulnerable within the street homeless community to get support. That must change, and I hope we can change it.